Shalom. All praise and glory and honor goes to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Kodash, double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone and the rule well. There's always peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. This is another edition of the Mark of the Beast, and I have a couple articles here. Just to further prove and bring home the point. And just show you how that the prophecies in the scriptures, all right, that have been spoken to us from the ancient prophets are manifesting themselves pretty much exactly. Now first, I have an article here. And this is a pretty old article. It's from 2016, but this is just to show that just a quick point that I want to show that this RFID microchip, okay, is manifesting itself to be what we here at Great Millstone says it is. It is the mark of the beast. Okay, now this particular article here is a headline, body hacking movement rises ahead of moral answers. Okay, and then you see these different people here in this image. They have implants in their hands, okay, which is an LED light implant. Okay, now this is just what I want to bring out in this particular article here. Let's see. All right, so it says a crowd lingered around Amal Grafstra as he carefully unpacked a pair of gloves, a small sterile blanket, and a huge needle. All right, a long line of people were waiting to get tiny computer chips implanted into their hands. All right, it says Grafstra had set up shop in a booth in the middle of an exhibit hall at the Austin Convention Center in Texas' capital, where he gathered last month with several hundred others who called themselves body hackers, people who push the boundaries of implantable technology to improve the human body. The movement evokes visceral reactions, brings up safety and ethical concerns, and quickly veers into sci-fi questions about the line between human and cyborg. All right. So this is, the trend that has been going on for some years now. All right. Now this article I said earlier is about 2 years old, but it's grown exponentially since then. So this is like a contrast of past to present, because I have another article that I'm gonna bring up, which mentions this article. Now it says here, all right. It says Grafstra is a pioneer in the space. Using his own body to experiment, he designed biosafe magnets and the microchip he was about to implant into the hand of A.J. Butt, who was sporting a tall blue mohawk. Now, I'm going to bring this up here, okay? Now, look at this image here, all right? You see this Edomite, all right? It's obviously an Edomite, okay? All right, as far as I can tell. And it says here under the caption, it says, A.J. Butt got an RFID microchip implanted into this right hand, or his right hand, okay? It specifies that he got the implant, all right, the microchip implanted into his right hand. Now, when you read that, what's the first thing that you think about? You think about the Holy Scriptures, okay? So I'm going to read it, Revelation 13 and 16. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Okay? All right? So he received that mark in his right hand. All right? So that's the manifestation of that scripture. I mean, I don't know how clear. I don't know how more clear I can be, all right, as far as, bringing out that understanding, okay? And this is an article from 2 years ago. Okay? So the things that we're bringing out now that are even more current, it's just a more clear picture or piece of the puzzle that's becoming a clear picture into what the mark of the beast is. Okay? Let's see here. All right. Let's see here. All right. Okay. So that's basically that's pretty much the point in this article here. Um, let's see. I mean, it's pretty much the point. Now I'm gonna get this other article. Okay. Now this is a more recent article. This is okay from NPR.org. It says India's biometric ID system has led to starvation for some poor advocates say. All right. Now, matter of fact, let me go back. Let me hit. All right. Let me go back. Right. Okay. Because it was actually another article before I get that one. Now this is from today. Okay. This is or yesterday. Excuse me. Thousands of Swedes are inserting microchips under their skin, and we're always doing articles on the Swedes getting microchips. Okay. Um, so here it just says technology continues to get closer and closer to our bodies, from the phones in our pockets to the smartwatches on our wrists. Now, for some people, it's getting under their skin. In Sweden, a country rich with technological advancements, thousands have had microchips inserted into their hands. The chips are designed to speed up users' daily routines and make their lives more convenient. Accessing their homes, offices, and gyms is as easy as swiping their hands against digital readers. They can also be used to store emergency contact details, social media profiles, or e-tickets for events and rail journeys within Sweden. Okay, because you can actually take these chips, all right, and pay for things. All right. Okay. All right. Now this article, let's see if I can find it. All right, 1 second. Right. See, now you see here, now you see the first article here under all tech considered, body hacking movement rises ahead of more answers. Because these different journalists that track these things, they see the trend in the coming technological market. And that trend is so-called wearable technology. And there's different countries around the world that are using this technology and developing it more and more every day, okay, or every year. All right. So it says here, it says let's see. I just want to hit the point. I'm gonna send the links as usual in the description, but Okay, let me read this. It says many early adopters come from Stockholm's thriving startup scene. Eric Frisk, a 30-year-old web developer and designer, says he was really curious about the technology as soon as he heard about it and decided to get his own chip in 2014. Okay, so this thing is has been developing over the years. All right, and it is being more and more used for convenience, man. All right, and these different tech developers are using different countries to test their product. So how much longer before it gets to America? You know. All right. So it says it's just completely passive. It has no energy source or anything. So when you tap it against a reader, the chip sends back an ID that tells the reader which chip it is, he explains. Swedes are very pragmatic and the chip is useful. And since a lot of people know each other in the tech community, it's very tight. The trend has been spreading and people have seen the benefits for it. Says, right, the thousands of people, man. Okay, thousands of people is getting this chip. Okay. It says the chip basically solves my problems, says Zilvia Varzegi, 28, who also used it to get into her co-working space. And she uses it to share her LinkedIn details at networking events, avoiding the need to spell out her name. She simply touches another attendee's smartphone and the information is transferred. When another phone reads the chip, they see the link and they can open it in the phone browser, Varzegi explains. Sweden's largest train company has started allowing commuters to use chips instead of tickets. And there's talk that the chips could soon be used to make payments in shops and restaurants, which people are already using the chip for payments. But this goes into the next part of the prophecy. Okay. In this article, so it says Revelation 13 and 16, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, because soon the chip is going to be mandatory, made by these different governments. All right, they're going to get a hold to the technology, and they're going to cause all the different citizens around the world to actually receive this chip. Okay. So it says, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand, like I just showed you in the first article. All right, that guy, AJ Butt, had an actual chip, microchip, in his right hand. So that proves it's not talking about Christianity. Otherwise, the majority of the world would be destroyed, because we've all, at one point or another, believed in Christianity, right, or any religion, okay? All right, and it can't be an embargo or God loving the world. God so loved the world. All right, because number one, that's a part of Christianity, and embargoes deal with actual countries, okay, and then different departments over, exports and imports, okay? All right, and trading. That has nothing to do with individual people buying and selling. All right. All right, so it says also, or in their foreheads, what you got, this guy, Elon Musk, is developing a Neuralink implant device to actually have people, communicate with their brain, okay? Which your forehead is what protects your brain on the front of your face, all right, and your skull from any damage, okay. So they can actually put a chip in your forehead and that'll connect to your brain or your pineal gland, which is right there also as well, what they call your third eye, all right, where the spirit dwells, because that's what these elites of the so-called white man want, all right? They want control of your spirit, all right? And that's why they want to introduce this mark. So it says here in verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, all right, meaning payments, being able to pay or sell certain things, pay for items, all right, or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Okay. All right. And these different chips, they have identifying numbers that, like the article said, when you have a chip reader, it reads the chip in your hand or in your forehead. Okay. And that all your information, okay, is open, once that reader reads that identifying number. Okay. Because that number is registered to the system of the beast. Just like your social security number here in America is linked to, the IRS and other, departments of the government. Okay. Because it's all about control, and that's what they want to introduce. All right. So I'll read this again. This article, it says, Sweden's largest train company has started allowing commuters to use chips instead of tickets, and there's talk that the chips could soon be used to make payments in shops and restaurants. That's the prophecy in Revelation, the 13th chapter, man. Okay. All right. Let's see. I don't think it was anything else. Else too much in this particular article. All right. Well, it is a little bit more. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna read this here. Let's see. It says Austerlin says the tougher data privacy rules that came into effect across the European Union earlier this year as part of the General Data Protection Regulation could also help the microchip trend spread more rapidly. So now we're getting the governments into play. That's how it's going to be made mandatory. Once the government sees this is a useful tool, they're going to make it mandatory across the planet. All right. So it says it's the heaviest set of laws protecting individual integrity ever, he says, of the rules, which affect any organization handling personal information linked to EU residents. Driver's license, insurance, your bank records, your medical records. That's how they can get control of this chip and introduce it as a new way of interacting. All right. It says, but Austerlin says the fact that this kind of regulation does not exist on a global level could delay the microchip trend elsewhere. So just imagine the U.S. saying, well, we want general data protection regulation rules. Well, then that's going to introduce the chip as a government product. All right. So it says they have a hard time seeing the rest of the world following GDPR anytime soon, but at least all of Europe, one continent, it's a good beginning, he says. So they want to take this chip, all right, and eventually have the governments introduce it and make it a standard in the world, whether it be Europe, all right, China is a possible, beginning for the microchip, and then America. Now, here's this article here from Asia. It says India's biometric ID system has led to starvation for some poor, advocates say. That was the other article I had up here. Okay. But now even India, they have a biometric system, which the chip is basically a biometric device. Okay. All right. Now, this is from October 1st. So all, hey man, this thing is soon to hit, hit big, man. It's pretty mainstream, or it's going mainstream, but soon it's going to be a household thing, man. Okay. It says India has 1.3 billion people and no equivalent of the social security number. About 4 in 10 births go unregistered. Less than 2% of the population pays income tax. Many more are eligible for welfare benefits but may never have collected them, either because they can't figure out how or a middleman stole their share. To try to address these issues, the Indian government rolled out, remember the Indian government rolled out the biggest biometric ID system in the world. All right, and China's right behind them on that. It says it's voluntary, but in just 8 years, India has managed to collect the fingerprints, photos, and iris scans of more than 1.2 billion people. That's damn near all the population, just another 0.3. And that's everybody will have a chip, all right, according to this. I mean, a biometric ID. So what's next to come? The microchip, okay? So it says collecting biometrics. I'm going to read this. It says, here's how Aadhaar works, which is their biometric system. It says an applicant goes to an Indian post office or ID enrollment center and shows proof of address and identity. In cases where people don't have a fixed address or any ID, another Indian can legally vouch for them. Okay? And now these Elamites are taking it. These Moabites are taking it. And these European Edomites are taking it. Next is going to become a thing in Africa, in other countries, man. All right? It says an Aadhaar enrollment worker scans applicants' irises, takes their fingerprints and photos, and assigns them a unique 12-digit number. That's the number of the beast. It's going to be attached to your biometric ID, or as the prophecy is concerned, the actual microchip. Okay, right. So it says here the biometric data are stored on government servers. Several weeks later, an ID card arrives in the mail. So they want to do away with these cards because somebody can steal your card. You can use your card. Lose your card. Okay. So what's next? To have that microchip within you to cut all these issues, man. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to read this here. It says in technical difficulties. In Jharkhand, one of India's poorest states, Aadhaar is mandatory. All right, their biometric system is mandatory in Jharkhand. And that's funny because it's named Jharkhand. I don't know what the word means. Okay. Anyway, it says a long line forms outside a tiny stucco booth, painted lavender with a corrugated metal roof. It's a government food ration shop. So when this famine hits over here in America, aka Babylon the Great, in order for you to get these rations of food, you're going to have the microchip. Okay? It says it's a government food ration shop. Inside, the distributor scoops out rice, weighs it, and delivers it to customers. More than half of Indians are eligible for free or subsidized food. In rural Jharkhand, the figure is 86%. The government says Aadhaar has helped eliminate nearly 30 million fake or duplicate food ration cards. All right. It's so much in this article here, man. But you can see the point. It says at this ration shop, Ashok Kumar, 57, scans people's fingerprints with something that looks like a credit card machine. It runs on batteries and needs a 3G or 4G cell phone signal, which eventually, that's what 5G is about. They want to roll out 5G signals, cell phone signals, where 5G is supposed to go all over the world, be faster, quicker, and what it's really supposed to do, connect you to the system worldwide with your microchip, man. Okay? So these different scanners can scan your microchip, man. All right? And the poor here in India have to, they have to register with the this is a pretty long article. I'll leave a link in the description, man. But hey, as the prophecy says, rich and poor. Okay, so let me go back to the scriptures. All right, once again, this is Revelation 13 and 16. It says, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, Free and bond is already in India. They're already using these things in Europe, okay, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, okay? And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. And that's the so-called white man's system, Esau, Edom in the scriptures. These Edomites are going to have a system which is linked to the UPC barcode, whose number is 666. All right. And the system is going to be connected to 5G. Okay. It's the Internet of Things, man. Hey, man, we're coming into the mark of the beast. And with that, I'm going to say shalom.